is Texas Senator Ted Cruz is with us. Senator, you know, we go from court packing to leaking, possible drafts of a decision, now to doxing the homes of Supreme Court justices, only in an effort to harass, intimidate these justices. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to move back to their neighborhood and move back home now that this effort is going full force. What shocks me even more than anything, though, is that Joe Biden is basically put a seal of approval on it and saying, well, people are free to protest anywhere they want. I would think that he'd be a little more prudent and understand the danger of people showing up at the homes of elected officials or judges or anybody that works in government for that matter.
Well, Sean, you're exactly right. What we're seeing, these images are the latest manifestation of just how extreme, just how radical the Democratic Party is getting. This Democratic Party today, Joe Biden has handed the agenda over to the socialists, and not just the socialists. This is now the Marxists. This is now the communists. Today's Democrat Party believes in violence. They believe in mob rule. They believe in intimidation. Just like Marxists and communists, they're willing to burn our institutions to the ground to get what they want. This leak from the court is fundamentally destructive to the Supreme Court of the United States, to the rule of law, and to our Constitution. And none of these Democrats care. Joe Biden won't condemn it. The White House won't condemn the leak. Instead, they sit back and say, oh, isn't that interesting? You're just passionate, as Nancy Pelosi says, as Jen Psaki said. Listen, these thugs have no business at the private homes of any government officials, these Supreme Court justices or anyone else. These thugs who dox the justices should be embarrassed and ashamed. And by the way, these are the same thugs that are firebombing pro-life outlets. These are the same thugs that are going into churches, disturbing churches. They hate faith. They hate God. They hate the Catholic Church. And it is disgusting to see Joe Biden and the entirety of the Democratic Party turn a blind eye. What we're seeing, Sean, is a replay of 2020, a replay of the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa riots. And in this instance, once again, they're putting politics above everything else, including people's lives. And these radicals are inviting violence directed at our judiciary and directed at the rule of law.
So they're bullying, trying to intimidate these justices. Let's go back to the summer of 2020, where we had over 574 riots. We had dozens of dead Americans, thousands of injured cops, billions of dollars in property damage. Okay, we know that took place. Not only were they silent, there were many people like Kamala Harris that actually offered moral support for these groups and the bail fund and the defund dismantle effort. Then January 6th happens. Donald Trump says many of you will peacefully, patriotically march to the Capitol so your voices will be heard. That's the one riot that they only want to focus on. Now, they're okay with sending and or allowing or approving of people going to the homes and doxing the homes of these justices. Why the selective moral outrage, and why the silence of people that seem so outraged over the one riot but ignore the 574 other riots and ignore the doxing? I'm trying to understand their logic.
Well, it's all politics for them. The ends justify the means, and it's complete hypocrisy. You see this in the corporate media. You see this among Democrats. On January 6th of 2021, you had tens of thousands of people peacefully protesting, and yet the corporate media and Democrats slander them with the made-up term insurrectionist. And yet, in this instance, they are not willing to call off their goons even now as this has the potential to escalate and escalate further. And you know, part of it is the extreme left. They know their ideas are unpopular. When it comes to abortion, today's Democratic Party has gotten so radical. They support unlimited abortion on demand up until the moment of birth with taxpayer funding and no parental consent and no parental notification. Sean, do you know the latest polling shows that just 6% of Americans support unlimited abortion on demand right up until the moment of birth? The reason Democrats are freaking out is they can't actually convince their fellow citizens through the democratic process to adopt their extreme radical views. So instead, they want to use brute force. And in this instance, they want to use violence. Listen, if these guys want to protest, great. go to the public square, go to the mall, go in front of the Supreme Court. There have been protesters in front of the Supreme Court from the time it was built. All of that is legitimate, but they're not looking for peaceful speech. They're looking for threats. They're looking for intimidations. They're looking for targeting the kids of the justices, and that is grotesque. Just this week we saw the Washington Post do this glowing hagiography of this one protester, this woman who was protesting her neighbor, Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, it is shameful, and this is where today's Democrat Party is. You know what it is also? They are afraid of November because they know the voters are going to throw them out on their rear ends.
There are states right now, and this is a big lie, the big myth, that if Roe's overturned, that abortion will become illegal in America. No, it will not. The states will decide, because Roe is bad law. From my perspective, you're the law student, one of Alan Dershowitz's best, in his own words. And basically what they did in the case of Roe is they granted a right not granted in the Constitution. And so that would, I would argue, trigger the 10th Amendment. And then rather than go forward and give that right to individuals, they basically send it back to the states. New York, California, New Jersey. There are a whole bunch of states that allow abortion up until, the hour before birth, for crying out loud. That will still continue in some states, won't it? So abortion is not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's right. And if you look at our nation's history, for the first 185 years of our nation's history, abortion was decided by elected legislatures, primarily at the state level. And listen, we all recognize that abortion is an issue that is deeply emotional, it's personal. People feel very strongly and have sharply divided views. What happened in 1973, when Roe versus Wade was handed down, was 7 unelected lawyers in black robes said to the American people, "You pesky voters, your views don't matter. We know better than you do. We are philosopher kings, and we are going to decree the rule." And I'll tell you, that ruling, it was wrong the day it was issued. It's been wrong every day since then. But that ruling produced enormous anger, enormous division, because when people disagree and feel strongly about it, if the democratic process is available to them, you can go and make the case to your fellow citizens and you can argue for it. But with Roe, the court said, no, we know better than you do. If Roe is in fact overturned, and I pray that it is, the result will be it goes back to the elected legislatures. And by the way, these loons that are harassing the justices can go to their state legislature and argue in front of the legislature for the rule they want, and will let democracy play out.
In other words, there was no right to there was no right enumerated in the Constitution, and therefore it should constitutionally be in the state's hands. If it is overturned and this draft comes down the way we think it probably will, that will be what the law in every state will make their own law, and we'll be able to decide from there. Senator, good to see you. We'll watch very closely. Very dangerous time, I think, for the institution and for judges all across the country. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.